On this episode of the Dudes and Dads podcast, we chat with our friend Amos about his conversion. I can't talk this morning. That's not good. From Amish to English. Wow. Joel, I cannot do cold open. This is not good for me. For me today, not good.
You know what, Andy, though, it just reinforces how natural and organic this show is.
And how we don't cut things out of
that's right.
The
There's
show.
Minimal editing going on at any given point. Andrew,
you sound like you might be Barry White.
Baby. Yeah. I don't think this is cold related. I think it is purely allergy related because I have some other allergy symptoms, if you will. For those watching right now, they can tell that I've got the Kleenex box right next to me. But yeah, my nose has just been like running and my eyes kind of watering and itchy and with whatever's out in the atmosphere, Andy. It's troubling me.
Well, I'm hoping that you make it through the show tonight.
You know what? I'm here because the show must go on, Andy. I've said no to a lot of other things today, but I will not.
You're like, no, I will be here for this show.
But I will be coming here to record. Oh, hi everybody. Welcome to the Dudes and Dads podcast. Glad to have each and every one of you along for the ride. Excited about our conversation. You know, Andy, our guest tonight, I feel like, you get to talk with him more than I do, but
I spent a whole 3 hours in the car with him yesterday.
Right, which is, if for those of you listening, I'm sure the goal is that Andy conducts, at least 2/3 of this interview because he's got all the recent data. Hopefully, he's tucked it away. Yeah, it's. I will say, for me, from my perspective, Amos is one of my pastors here at Clinton Frame, and I like talking with my pastors, and sometimes if I feel like I don't talk to them enough, I just get them on the show, and make,
so you had lack of Amos time.
Yeah, so it's one way to make it happen, you know, like, hey, get on the show, and then I'm going to grill you with all the questions that I haven't asked yet. So we'll see how it goes, Andy.
Right. All right. Well, welcome, Amos. Good to have you.
Hi.
I'd like to ask, Joel, have you considered that maybe your issue with like your nasal like passages being clogged could have something to do with the fact that you're wearing an irritant on your
so
like your hat
before we started recording.
Before
we started recording, Amos was like, "Oh, I see you're wearing your Detroit Tigers gear, and I've seen other people wear that today. And if I see any more Detroit Tigers paraphernalia, I don't know if you use the word paraphernalia.
I did not,
but let's just say you did because it sounds highbrow. If I see any more Detroit Tigers paraphernalia, I'm going to puke." And
those are pretty close to words.
It was close enough.
Yeah.
So thank you, but no. I actually this hat and this shirt I find have magical healing properties. So.
Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah. Okay. So Andy, I think we should start off as we do with the dad stats.
We should.
Let's have Amos tell us everything about he and his family and their biographical information, all that he wants out on the internet, as we like to say. So that's who you're married to, for how long, how many kids you got, who they are, how old they are, what they're doing in life, anything else, like, things like that. Dogs, cats, whatever.
We do not have pets.
Good for
my son would love to have a dog, but we do not have a dog.
I'm sorry,
because I do not want to take my dog out to go poo-poo.
Yeah.
When it's cold and
1 million degrees below zero.
I don't want to do that. So very selfish in that, as far as I'm concerned.
Nope, that's wise. That's just wisdom.
I get regularly harassed by the rest of the staff the fact that I don't have a dog. Everybody has. I'm the only one on staff.
You're only non-pet person.
Hey, I heard one of the other staff just had puppies.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, if people want to do that, that's fine.
That's
just don't pull me into that.
Right.
I mean,
fair.
There's been a lot of shaming and guilt going on, but I've moved past it. As you can tell, I'm really over it at this point. No, I am married to Aaron. I've been married. Will be 21 years in September.
Wonderful.
And have 2 kids. Audrey is 18, almost 19. just finishing up her first year at Spring Arbor up in Michigan.
Yay, Audrey.
And Caleb is almost 17.
Goodness.
Junior at Northridge,
yes,
locally here. And they're doing great as far as I know.
Yeah. As far as the report cards and all that stuff,
yeah, they're great students. Their GPA is 4.34 something. I don't know.
That's right. That sounds like a made up number, but it's actually real now.
It is real.
Different grade numbers now. My children try to explain them to me because I see the numbers and I go, okay, first of all, no offense, but I'm suspicious. So you're gonna have to explain this to me. And then they go in the rigmarole about how they do this, and I'm like,
very intelligent kids.
What kind of new math are they using out there?
My kids, simply put, have. I like to say it this way: they have their mom's brains and their dad's personality. So that's kind of where we're gonna go with that. But that's in a nutshell what my family consists of.
Gotcha.
I do have a large extended family, like siblings.
I was going to go into that. So can you tell me how many?
There's only 16 of us in my family. 8 boys, 8 girls.
And you are number what?
15.
Oh.
And I'm kind of like the golden child. I'm at the end. I was the one they were waiting on, and then it finally happened. And then my younger sister was kind of like, "Oh, one more." But I mean, they had what they wanted when they got to me.
Okay,
that kind of thing. So
got it.
You could at least say like you were the last boy, right?
I was the last boy. I mean, I was the one I was like the one that was going to carry on the thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Holy smoke. Okay, so we can do rough math if you need to, because I know I lose track of this stuff. From what is the age range or the number of years from eldest to youngest?
Well, you said last night
I did.
That there was like...
It's from 1959 was my oldest sister.
Yes.
Was born in 59.
Yes.
The youngest sibling was born in 83. So
3 decades that your mother was pregnant.
Holy...
Four decades.
4 decades.
Toledo.
Yes.
So my mom had babies in 4 separate decades. And
I don't even...
It's incredible, honestly. That I wouldn't say I thought it was normal. I knew it was abnormal.
Yeah.
But I didn't think much about it until I had my own kids.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized just how incredible that really is, and how much more respect I had for my mother, my poor mother.
Well, and I mean, after you had Caleb and said, that's enough, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm like, 16 of these?
Sense. Yeah, what?
I'd be calling for help.
Yes. Can we move them somewhere else?
Yeah, can we take them back?
No, just for the record, Caleb, I really appreciate you, and that's just a cheap joke at your expense. So
you appreciate that.
So okay, so a big family, but this is and I always know that, as we've said, with you growing up Amish, the large family is kind of known as it's more normal. 15 does seem like a lot, though. 16 rather, because you were 15. 16, that seems like a lot.
I would say it's a lot.
Yeah. Like,
the crazy thing is, my dad's oldest sister, they also had 16 children.
16.
And my dad's one of, I could be 1 or 2 off here, but I think he's one of 14. My mom was one of 13 kids.
The family tree
there's 98 grandchildren in my family. My mom and dad have 98 grandchildren. They have, at this point, probably north of 200 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandkids, and the list, it just keeps going and going and going.
Oh my gosh.
So is that something fairly normal in Amish families? Very large?
That's probably on the higher side, but like 10 kids is not abnormal at all.
What's the value of a large family? Because clearly, if that's reasonably
more
normal,
people to work. When we had a farm, and it created more. Created the workforce was larger, but I don't know what the benefit. I have opinions about large families. It was not a benefit to me to be a part of a large family.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. One being the emotional side of things.
Right.
I had everything I needed physically, but emotionally there was a big disconnect. Still is.
A big disconnect how?
in my emotional needs, like the affirmation, the things that a kid needs growing up,
from
like
their
the
parents.
good job, son.
Sure.
The, hey, this kind of thing, like that wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was just, that kind of thing. But I'm saying, I mean, that can happen in a family of 16, but it didn't happen to us because of, my dad was doing what he felt like he was doing what he was taught.
Yeah.
And then when you have that many, you can't get around to, I mean, there's just too much.
Right. Well, I mean, I know even with 4, that's has something you have to be intentional with, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make sure that you're spending time. Hi, Micah. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
I almost brought Caleb along. That would have been kind of a treat.
Oh, that would have been a trip.
But you have to be intentional with that, and I imagine that with 16, that's just impossible. Like physically, it's impossible. Probably impossible.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it just was not. You just can't. I mean, the thing of it is, you got such a variety, or you got such an age range between. My oldest sister is like, she was born in 1959. I was born in 80.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
21
year span. By the time I have any memory of home, the top half was gone.
Mm-hmm.
They were all married. So I never had like a lot of kids in the house, but it was still pretty, like, it's just, anyway.
So those probably don't even really feel like your siblings to you, right?
I mean, to be honest, no. I mean, that sounds...
Well,
that's something I struggle with.
Yeah.
It's like you have siblings that don't really feel like siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They act. I mean, I think I said this to you, Andy. We were driving. It's like they act like, you get around your family,
right?
And we all act alike because we're siblings.
Mm-hmm.
But yet there's not that emotional.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I miss my brother. I haven't seen my brother, and I just. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's like, I mean, for our kids, I mean, they're all, like I think of my 1 and 2, they're only 15 months apart. So they're like, they're only a grade apart. They're growing up together. They're doing a lot of things, a lot of things
well,
together.
The same thing with Micah and Eli.
Deal,
they were 22 months apart.
So I have two sets of, I told them on the trip home last night that I have 2 sets of siblings that the oldest 2 were born less than a year apart.
Goodness
so
gracious.
The oldest was born in like late August. And then the next one came along in the beginning of August before the oldest one wasn't even 1 yet. And then here comes number 2. And then on down about 5 or 6 kids later, same thing happened. So 2 sets of what we call that, Irish twins, whatever.
Yeah.
So that I just can't imagine.
Yeah. So, as a parent, I can't imagine trying to parent all of that. And
Okay.
Anyway.
So Amos, you are born into this family. What does Dad do for a living?
What did he do growing up?
Yep.
Type of thing.
Yep.
Man, mostly. I mean, he was a farmer.
Okay.
But then he worked like in a factory locally. So a little bit of me. Then he did this kind of crazy story where we made a connection with. I don't even know how it happened, but we got connected to a company that would bring product out to us, and we'd assemble stamp pads for Crayola.
Oh,
We did that for years. One of the most monotonous things I've ever done in my entire life.
It sounds like,
but it paid well, and Mom and Dad did that for a really long time. And I would like to. I should have said this earlier, but my mom passed away a little over 2 years, almost 2 years ago.
Okay,
and. Yeah, she, you talk about the emotional connection. Like I had a connection with my mom that I never really did with my dad.
Yeah.
Nothing against my father, but there was that mother kind of mom connection that, out of the whole family between her and then one of my older sisters. Like those 2 are probably the closest to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the whole bunch.
So Amos, we obviously have listeners that are here local, but we also have listeners that are other places in the country that maybe know roughly about the Amish lifestyle, the Amish way of life. If you were to give the minute-long crash course of what is Amish culture, what is, it's a particular expression of, Protestant Christianity, obviously has its roots, Swiss German roots way back during, it comes out of the, a Protestant movement and a particular way of living, a particular way of doing community together. Just kind of give us like from if you were to like, hey, Amos, what's the Amish way of life? What is this all about? How would you describe it?
It's a really broad thing, isn't it? So they, they pride themselves on shunning modern shunning modern conveniences. That's one thing, but living a really simple lifestyle. So it's almost like at some point in the certain point in time in history, it's like they stopped there.
Yeah.
Like horse and buggy, they have horse and buggy, horses and like they whatever, that's their mode of transportation. Although a lot of things are changing. In this area, there's a lot of e-bikes.
The e-bike craze is hitting.
Yes. That's something that is anyway. A lot of taxi stuff going on. That was not really a thing as much when I was younger. But basically, in a nutshell, a simple lifestyle, a horse and buggy, no like farm equipment that's driven. Like there's no tractors in the field. It's shunning the modern, like trying to keep their life simple, a simple, quiet life, no distractions. That is the goal.
So tell me about electricity, telephones.
So growing up, for example, things have changed. So I've been I moved out of my mom and dad's house when I was a teenager, and so I haven't been back in almost 30 years. So as far as being immersed in that and growing up, things are so different than they used to be. For example, we had to walk 3/4 of a mile to get to the phone, like to this little phone hut, shack, whatever. Nowadays, like they all have it just like 200 feet from the house, or if that. So no electricity, but so here's the crazy thing. Like you have no you're not paying anything to NIPSCO, so no one's providing you with electricity. But here's the thing: you can have your generator sitting out back running with a line in to power your washer, your whatever. You have solar panels with an inverter that will change it from DC to AC, and you have all anyway, it's very complicated to try to, like, to me, I look at that and go, oh, wow, like, what's the difference? It's hard to explain that to an outsider.
Right, sure.
Like, tell me again why you can't just run the line in, get on the grid, but you can have the generator, which is essentially, so but it's like they're still rejecting the modern.
So tell me if this tracks some with you, because I have heard some people describe it as there is, and I think this is a fair assessment, that technology has a way of isolating us or making us less dependent upon our community, for instance, or the people around us, right? Like there is a observable reality to that, right? And so I have heard it said that within some communities, it's talked about like, okay, the reason we don't have these modern technologies, and like you said, it varies. It varies by area and district and who the leaders are and all of that, right? The reason we don't have them quote unquote directly available to us is that it will make us less dependent upon this community that we are in. And community identity means a lot.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you're dressing a certain way, and
community is everything.
Yeah. And it's all about too, I mean, like, right, correct me if I'm wrong, but like your church is like based on your location of where you're living.
Yeah,
so it's not like us where we're saying I live in Millersburg, but I come to Goshen for church or whatever.
You don't do that. If you want to go to a different church, you have to move.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have to physically move and buy a new property.
So where you live determines what community you're going to be in.
And to your point about community, one thing that I noticed when my mom passed away, I was at my mom and dad's house, and my mom had just passed, like it'd been in like an hour maybe, and we were all there, all the kids were there, and we were still waiting on them to come pick her up, like the funeral home. And they had not even, the funeral had not even been there yet. We were waiting, and the neighbors were already out getting ready for the funeral, for all this. I'm thinking, like, that was pretty incredible from my perspective, just how quickly they're on it, man. They got food coming in. I mean, it's just, they got that part. They do that very well. They do it better than most anybody else I know. So I definitely, that's a huge thing for them. So
So I think when a lot of people, especially outside of the area that we live in, particularly look at the Amish, they want to clap them and praise them for being simple and living a well-rounded life.
It's quaint. It's quaint, nice. What a nice, quaint idea, right?
You left. A lot of people leave. What's the draw to leave that lifestyle?
I mean, I can speak for myself, but I think I can speak for most of those that leave. Now, the interesting thing is though that out of, if you did a percentage like of the kids that kind of, do their thing, we call a room spring or whatever, like the sowing of the oats type of deal. We'll get into that probably later. But the percentage of kids that do go back and go back to the church, it's pretty overwhelming. Like they still, a lot of them go back to a big percentage go back. But why? I mean, for me, it had more to do with spiritual reasons. There was a large, that was a big part of me. And then I just, there's so many things I could say about that, but a lot of it had to do with, I came to a point in my life where spiritually I could not exist in that environment and do what I wanted to do with my life.
Sure.
Spiritually and with other things.
For you, what would you say spiritually was lacking or that you needed to change out of that? Like, what was it that drew you away?
The way that, church, as far as how church was done, how we, and this is something that some people would disagree with this, maybe, but generally speaking, again, this is I say things, there's always an exception, right, to the rule. And generally speaking, I was raised in that you self-study, like your own study of scripture, of getting it and having that relationship with Christ. Like that was not necessarily encouraged. As long as you showed up on Sunday and you were a good guy, a decent person, followed the rules, had the outward thing going on, and you were a decent human being, like no one was going to say much about it.
Right.
But when you get to, like, for me, it was, what was the
the question was essentially like what about the spiritual aspect of the Amish wasn't satisfying to you?
I needed more. My faith needed more nurturing than what I would have been able to get there. I mean, that's just the nuts and bolts of it. Like I was not able to get what the truth was revealed to me, and in some ways, like my eyes were opened to this thing, and I couldn't stay.
Yeah,
I couldn't stay.
So you mentioned this again for listeners. In general, the process is you are growing up as a young person within the Amish church. There comes a point, usually around what age?
16
years of age, where both boys and girls, and you can help me flesh this out. I have noticed that the female expression of this tends to look a little bit different. Like
it can
look a little bit different than the boys.
And again, it can vary by area. It can vary by family, by whatever.
But your begins the season of Rumspringa, which is
I'm impressed with your pronunciation of that because most people cannot say that correctly.
So it's Pennsylvania Dutch for running. Thank you, Pennsylvania Dutch for. Hey, I try to be.
He studied.
I try to be.
Most people will add like an R at the end or Rumspringer, something like that. You had a little roll in there.
Try not to be too Dutchy, but not too little. But this is the time. I mean, the little definition of that is to run around. So
that's directly translated.
Yes, it's a time for sowing of the wild oats.
So explain that sowing of the wild oats,
because it is friends. It is wild, and for someone like me who grew up in Middlebury here, just north, and had
your Middlebury product,
and had many acquaintances that were Amish. I went to school with kids up through 8th grade that were Amish, knew them, would see them around town as they were going through this process, which is can be very alarming, as you're experiencing it. And also, Amos served as a backup Amish taxi driver in my high school and college years, because my grandma did for a while. And every once in a while, the young ladies who were on their way to a Rumspringa event, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
They'd be like, she'd be like, hey, I need you to go pick them up and deliver them to XYZ address.
Yeah.
And my eyes were opened to a new world, Amos. So that's what I'm wondering about, like your experience with that, how that's treated, because let's ask this first. What is the core reason for Rumspringa? Like, if you were to say in the parent's mind, in the Amish church's mind, what are they hoping is accomplished?
That is a great question. I don't know that there's an answer to that, because the complicated part about this whole thing that you just described is that not every kid does it.
Okay.
Not every kid. Like, I have nieces and nephews that, yeah, they had some. It's for them, it was more of a time to mingle with other young folks and go to gatherings and events, but it was really mild, and nobody was drinking. There was not a lot of that going on. It was more just you now could date. You could go to different places with your friends, and there was some freedom there. But what I went and did was something very different than that. It was more like, hey, I mean, there are no rules. It's barriers, and all boundaries are out the window. Honestly, we went crazy. Yeah. I mean, we just did. And but what the benefit of that, it's a cultural thing that the crazy thing with this is that you could ask my dad, most likely would say, we absolutely do not condone this. We do not agree with this. We wish it wouldn't happen. Yeah. But at the same time, there's not a lot done to try to prevent it from happening. Yeah. Like, I take that back. There are places, like in Shipshewana, for example, there are places that they've put together, like spaces, I should say, where they're trying to get kids to do something other than go out and party and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So I take that back to an extent. There is an attempt that's been made, and I think they've been successful to an extent, but you still have a culture that you're up against. Right. That it's kind of like that whole thing, like your strategies will only work to a certain point. Yeah. Culture is going to come in and eat that up, because there's still a lot of kids that cannot wait for the day when I can just let loose, man. So the frequent, like for the outsider observing an Amish young person in Rumspringa, a few things you might see. They're going to drive cars. Yeah. Well, maybe. Usually when they're 18, unless dad he needs a taxi. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it's kind of what happens. So there will be a time where they are permitted to drive vehicles. Their clothing, their attire changes. They may, depending on whether hairstyle, definitely hairstyle. But let's just be very clear. You can pick out a Rumspringa Amish hairstyle. Yes. From a mile away. Clothes. By the way, so here's the deal. In my experience in this region, all Rumspringa boys buy their jeans at the Buckle at the mall. They are the most bedazzled. They go all out, man. It is. These are not normal. There's no skimping. That's right. There's no Wrangler from the Walmart rack. That's right. It is clear what's going on. The plenty of lift kits on trucks, lighting packages, all of that. I mean, it is, and you will see if they have decided to join the church or come to the end. There is nothing more alarming than seeing that vehicle sitting out in front of an Amish, with a for sale sign on it, in front of an Amish farm or whatever. So that you brought up a good point there. Yeah. So Rumspringa, when does it end? There is no. I mean, there's death. No. Yeah, I mean, well, it's and again, if there's people that are listening or watching or will watch or whatever, they may have had a different experience, but there's no. I mean, there's an expectation that at, I would say 18, 19, if you're 21 and you haven't joined church, like joined the Amish church. You're going to start getting some questions like, hey, dude, come on. Like, are you going to... So the ultimate goal would be it ends when you join you decide to settle down and join the church. It would end when you join church. And more often than not, again, this is a general statement, but is pretty much true across all different whatever. But like, what often will happen is the guy will get a girlfriend. He'll start dating.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
a story as old as time.
It's right. So it just kind of like, there's this progression. He starts dating, and they join church. They get married, and voila.
Right.
So
because they want to be married in the Amish church, obviously, but first they're going to be.
Well,
I mean, they're
there's
gonna be
this whole process
yeah.
they go through. They do baptism, like instruction type stuff for quite a while, and then they get baptized, and then at that point, you have to give up all of your play things.
Yeah.
Like
you have to go back.
You got to take the Audi back. You got to put the Mercedes out front. I mean, literally. I mean, I see that's the crazy thing that is different now than it was when back in 1996.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, we drove beaters, like junk cars, because we couldn't afford to buy the Cadillac Escalade, the Mercedes. We couldn't do that stuff. I had this beater of a Blazer, but. So it wasn't that big of a deal to give that thing up back. I mean, it wasn't as hard, I should say.
Yeah.
But things have changed so much. I mean, I look at the kids now and I'm like, holy cow, I never had that kind of stuff.
So you're moving toward baptism, and baptism, the act of baptism into the Amish church is sort of this defining moment, kind of line in the sand, right? And if you come to that point and are asked the question, I mean, let's say you get 18, 19, get into that place, and you say, there's kind of two ways. You say either, yes, I'm going to join. I'm ridding myself of all these things that I've encountered during Rumspringa, which from my experience, and this is coming actually from some pastoral experience I have, caring for ex-Amish young adults that have just been married for a short time or coming out of that. My experience would be, and this shouldn't be a surprise to us, but like in those years of Rumspringa, a lot of damage can be done. Obviously,
absolutely.
Things done to health, things done to spiritual wellness, relational things, because you are, and I say this respectfully, but you are putting a teenager in a place where they're not meant. I mean, they're not meant to be, and as we've said. I have experienced some Amish parents that are like, no, we are not letting our kids go down this
there
this
are
path.
exceptions
We're not gonna do it. We see the harm. This is not in line with our values. Not going to happen. And then on the other end of the spectrum, which as it is, by the way, with English parents,
right?
Hey, they're not my problem.
My parents didn't approve of any of it. The things I did, the lifestyle that I had there for a while. I mean, they didn't approve of that, and my dad would tell me that, but I mean, my mindset was, man, watch me.
Yeah.
Kind of, I was very rebellious, rebellious. And for a lot of reasons, I was rebelling against everything I knew because I didn't know who I was. I mean, I didn't have, my identity was all, I didn't know who I was. I was trying to find myself. So that there was some massive rebellion going on. It was a mess there for a while. Yep, absolutely.
So
still kind of am, to a certain extent.
join the club. Okay, so yeah, then you got to a certain point where you said, for you personally, I'm
not going back.
I'm not going back. How old were you?
I would say, so again, this is something I talked about. Annie and I were in the car driving for a while, and we were talking about this stuff, and as far back as I can remember, even as a young kid, I would say my mindset was always one of, I wish there was some way that I could get out. But at the same time, in my mind, I also thought, there's like, how would that ever happen? Because I looked at this thing, I looked at what I was living in, and I thought, well, this is going to be the path. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to marry this little Amish girl. I'm going to just be this person like all of the rest of them.
And let's be clear, your wife Erin is not Amish.
She is not Amish. She is not. There's a lot of things I could say about that. She is not Amish. But I always had that in the back of my mind. But then I would say it really became evident in my late teens that there was just no chance of me going back. And the interesting thing is, My dad is an Amish bishop.
Ooh.
What he's like retired, kind of. I don't know what they call that in the Amish church. Maybe like I don't know. Anyway, he's not necessarily in that role, but he's still very much whatever. But most of my life, that's what he was. 3 of my brothers are like Amish ministers, preachers, whatever. One brother's an Amish deacon. So the ministry, I guess you could say, is very much in my. So I would have the. I mean, this is totally like I can vividly remember waking up and like having had this dream, maybe like a nightmare kind of, that I was Amish and then I was an Amish preacher. And I always thought, I'm just not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me that, it really became, I felt like in my late teens, I had to come to grips with what I was doing in life. And that's when it really became real to me that, you know what, there's just no way I'm going back.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that though, because that's a pretty big deal for you to choose that you're going to step away from the Amish church. Tell me about that and what that means.
So that means, at least in my family, doesn't mean this across the board, but again, it's very common, typically speaking, that there's a lot of rejection. So there's disappointment. Mom and Dad were very disappointed in me that I didn't choose to come back. It was a hard road for a while. There were family functions that we weren't allowed to come to. In some ways, disinvited, if that's a word, uninvited. I mean, it's almost like modern day, where you make a decision. But for me, it really hit when I made a decision to follow Christ, and that was kind of like the nail in the. And it was it for me. I wasn't coming back. And when my dad found out that I had been attending a non-Amish church, that was not a good situation. That really, we had, that was not a good time. Because that to him was like, okay, what's happening? He's leaving. He's not coming back. So they were like, hold. And at that point, I had moved out and had been gone for a while. But yeah, that was rough. I don't know how, there's just a lot of rejection and disappointment. And I said this to them, and I've said this to a lot of people, that, rejection, we all get rejected at some points in our life by people, by whatever. And it's one thing when your coworkers or your friends or whatever, but when your own family says, you know what, stay away, or I don't want you here. That hits different. Differently, and that's rough. I had to work through that.
And you've been gone how long now?
So I would say for me, I moved out I think it was about 19 years old, and I'm almost 46.
And how long have you been dealing with that? Do you still deal with that, like the rejection?
It pops up at times. I've experienced a lot of healing in that area, and I've made a lot of headway. But there are times when, what gets me, I think, is when I see a father and a son, for example, that the relationship there, like sometimes I think, oh man, like I never had that, like let's go fishing together, let's do that kind of thing. Like I don't say that to be disrespectful to my dad in any way, shape, or form. And I've told him that he did the best that he knew how with what he had, with how he was raised. But but the rejection, I don't want to say you get used to it, but after a while, it kind of becomes part of it. You just don't. It's like, oh, okay, moving on.
Now, Amos, and I've heard this said, would the dynamics have been even worse had you been baptized into the church and then left?
Absolutely. 100%, yes.
Okay.
So in some ways I had it was easier. Because if you join the church, you go through all that, I never did that, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but essentially make a promise to the church that you're
Mhm.
going to be you're going to be a part of this thing for the rest of your life. And when you step away from that and you leave, I mean that's the ultimate betrayal
Yeah.
for the church. So that gets really dicey. And man, I mean there's stories. Yeah, it's crazy. But so there's the rejection is still there, but it's different. Like I never experienced any kind of shunning where
Yep.
they, I couldn't eat with, whatever. Like I never
Mhm.
experienced any of that because you can't. The shunning part comes in when you, as far as the again, certain communities doesn't matter if you were part of a church or not. If you leave, I mean, you're done.
Yep.
For us, it was more like it was a little bit easier. I didn't have to deal with the church stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that'd be a good way to put it. I didn't have to deal with all the church stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, I just kind of like didn't go back.
Right. Yeah.
Type
So
of
you're,
deal,
you're for you and your experiences, it was a little bit less. I don't want to say less intense, but it was in general less intense than if you were to join and make a promise.
It didn't feel very good.
No,
it didn't feel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was really hard.
Mhm.
But as I've said before, and I will say it again, and I will keep saying it, that I would do it again in a heartbeat. I made the decision I made. I would make that decision again, 100%. I have no regrets.
Yeah. What I'm so curious about is, as you mentioned, for every person, young man, young woman, who took the course of action that you did,
Mm-hmm.
there are many more who decide to join the church.
Mm-hmm.
And you've indicated that you had some sort of what I would call it, like spiritual inclination. There was some sort of thing that had, I think we would say, I mean, the Holy Spirit was working on you, was grabbing you in some way. But would you say that maybe that's not like, what is the difference between a person who doesn't join and who does? What is I'm sure there are a layer of things that can be going on, but have you kind of walked away with any sort of, like, I don't know, assessments or understandings about, this sort of person who thinks about things this way, they tend to go this direction, and then others go this way? Is there a commonality at all?
I would say for a large percentage, like almost overwhelming percentage of couples or people that leave, like after they've joined church or after they're married, that kind of thing, it almost always has to do with a spiritual awakening of sorts, where they start seeing some things and they start kind of really going, pursuing pursuing God in a deeper way, and it gets to every single time it gets to this point where their faith is here, and it can't go any farther, any deeper, because at that point you're going to get in trouble with the church. Like it just always seems to be that, where they get to a point, they have to make a decision. Like, am I going to stay or am I going to whatever? But for the young people like me, I think the difference is the young person that feels like he has a choice. So a lot of young people don't think they have a choice, because for me, in my mind, for a long while, I didn't think I had a choice. My choices were go back and be a part of this community that I grew up in, all of this, or not go back, and then essentially I'm doomed. Spiritually speaking, I'm out. I'm done. Like, there's no hope for you. That's what I was taught. That's how I felt. That's what I dealt with. Like, basically, heaven or hell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it was. Like, I did not think that I had any chance of obtaining salvation if I left. That was how my mind worked. But once I started digging into that a little bit, I had this awakening. I saw the truth for what it was, and I'm like, no, that's simply not true. But the difference between me and a lot of other young people is they never get to that point where it's like, well, I don't have a choice, because I see how I could potentially do that. Now, I'm totally like, this is just kind of making general whatever, but they get to a point where like, well, if I do this, even though there's a part of me that might want to leave, But there's the other part over here that if I do that, then I lose everything, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm losing everything. Like my family, yeah, some of that over time, healing, it'll kind of happen a little, again, different families. But the young person that feels like he has a choice, I guess I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
That I think is the difference. And you see, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the percentages are, but I know that a large percentage of them go back. I think of it, a lot of it has to do with they feel like, well, I mean, I like the idea of, I don't want to disrupt anything because you leave and you don't, I mean, it's a huge disruption in your family. It really is. I mean, it just is. There's a cost. There's a massive cost.
Mm-hmm.
It'll never be, your family will never be the same.
And having to like reestablish, or not reestablish, but establish other relationships outside of the family, because I mean family is huge, and I mean a lot of cultures family is huge, and for you to have that disruption in that family, even if you're not shunned, like you said, that relationship is broken with your family, and so that you have to replace those, not replace them, but you have to come up with relationships that are going to be able to be there for you.
Yeah, you have to work hard at that. And that's where, I've been very fortunate to have my wife's family. And I love my family. I'm not saying that I, whatever, but it's an odd thing.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing. It's a complicated thing. If people ask me about, tell me about your family. It's like, it's really complicated. It's really complicated. Some days it's like, oh, it's okay. And then in the next kind of interaction, I'm like, oh my goodness. This is rough.
Would you say, how has your relationship been with your dad since your mom has passed? Like,
I mean, it's. I would say it's as good as it can be. I mean, I mean, it's. We visit him and we interact, and I don't have any ill feelings or anything with my dad. I mean, I don't have any of that with my dad. It's as good as it probably has been. He wishes I would come home more. Like what father doesn't wish their son would come home, see them, and come home and see them more. So there's always that. But no, it's okay. The rest of the family, I mean, it's hit and miss. It really is. Yeah.
What's the family relationship look like for your kids and your wife now? Like how much of a relationship do they have with their grandpa? With, I mean, like how's it look for them?
I've tried to be intentional with that, taking them, like making sure my kids knew grandma and grandpa, mommy and daddy. That's what we would say in Dutch. And they did. We've always tried to get them over there at times, and my dad loves my kids. I mean, he loves when they come, and there's no issues there. But here's the thing, though, with the whole Amish, not Amish thing is, the sooner you embrace the fact that you will always be different, you left.
Yeah.
Don't try to insert yourself in that and try to act like, even if things are well, and your relationship is great, you still look different. You still are different. So the sooner you embrace that, the better your life will be. At least that's my opinion. So, and that's hard.
Yeah.
But
Amos, when you think about young people that are leaving the church, and sometimes, I mean, I don't know if I have such a great feel for it now with the work that I do, but it has felt like in this immediate community that young people leaving the church kind of comes in waves, like, and that sometimes it's like I am hearing stories all the time of could be like young couples that have not joined the church, but they're you're
talking about Amish.
Okay. Amish kids, like who kind of are collectively like, okay, we want to get married, we're not going to join the church. Where do we go? Like, as you've mentioned, where do we go now? What do we do?
Yeah, it's tough.
It was a surprise to me, and I think really something really special, but it definitely a surprise to me of like, it sounds strange to say for maybe people that are not as familiar with the culture, but the vast ministry opportunity that exists amongst that population of people who have essentially said goodbye to their community in so many ways. They are eager to pursue a deeper relationship with Jesus. They don't even necessarily, in my experience, they're not even sure what that means.
I would agree.
You know, there's a hunger there, but it's like, oh my goodness, you know, what? And I can only imagine, I mean, being in an Amish lifestyle, being in an Amish community, and then I think about the vast array of just like expressions of Christian faith that exist, you know, immediately at their back. I mean, really at their back door. You know, just think about even within our Protestant traditions, like that just seems to me like there's opportunities there. And I think back to several years ago. I mean, even here, we had a few ex-Amish couples who I don't think that they had joined the church. I don't think they had joined the church, but they just started a small group here, and that small group went from like 0 to 40, like in a matter of, in a matter of weeks. And I was like, oh, there's something going on here, right?
They tend to, I mean, the culture, they tend to follow each other around.
Yeah.
And you see that in even how they, like the young Rumspringa kids, you know, you mentioned it earlier, like we did the same thing. I mean, we'd all, like something was in, like cool or whatever. And the next thing you know, like I mean, not that the other, like my kid, I mean, whatever, but it's like y'all you're just used to looking alike, and you kind of follow each other around. And you even see that when they leave, they tend to gravitate towards those of their own kind. I mean, we do that too, kind of.
Right.
But that there's ministry opportunity there, absolutely. But it can also be, it can get really complicated because, speaking from experience, you bring a lot of baggage out of that lifestyle, out of that community. There's a lot of insecurity. There's a lot of tend to be very passive, lack of self-confidence, all those things that can really, and you have all these ideas in your head of, man, you know, I need to be, you know, like I need to earn my way into, I like to earn myself. Like it's there's all of that is just in a lot of kids' heads when they come out, and it's tough to know how to, anyway.
Yeah. For Amos, for a person, if we never know who's listening to this show, but for the young person that's, you know, that's in that situation, because I think, I mean, we're applying it specifically to people leaving the Amish church, but my goodness, I think we could have, and we have had many conversations about young people finding their identity and how, and the important work, the important work and process that is. And my goodness, the need for a grounded, Jesus-centered community to be around our young people when they're doing that. But for the person who is at that stage of life, young adulthood, late teen years, and is just going, like, what do I do? What do I do? What encouragement do you have for them?
I'm thinking back on my life, and I was at that point. You need to. It's difficult to get that young person to trust someone that they don't feel like understands where they're coming from. I'll just simply say this: find someone that has gone before you, somebody like me, who can give you a good opinion or path to follow. Because once you see and know the truth, you are responsible for that, and it's going to be very difficult for you to go back. But there's a huge cost. But find community, find like-minded. Find someone like me who can relate. Because Andy or Joel cannot relate to this young person who's like, I know that if I have this idea, or I'm discontent, or I don't want to go back, like, what do I do? And I would also say that, you know, you don't have to be Amish to be a follower of Christ. Now, anybody would say, most people would say, well, duh. But you don't understand what was drilled into my head growing up. Like, you have to stay. Because if you leave, that's bad. So all I would say is you do not have to stay to be a born again Christian. Yeah. You don't have to stay. But just know this. If you leave, there is a cost. Mm-hmm. But is it worth it? Yes, it is. Now, I would like to, there's like, for me, like anytime I talk about my upbringing and the things that happen, like it can come across, people get, sensitive and whatever about like, oh, you're speaking ill of the community. Mm-hmm. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I admire about the way I was raised. There's a lot of very positive things, but I chose to leave. That was a decision I made. It's not, I have respect and admiration for that, but there are a lot of reasons why I would not want to be a part of it.
Right.
So it's just what it is. And so to me, I don't want to, I have to be careful because there was a season in my life where I would speak against. Mm-hmm. Now there are things that they need to deal with in the community that are a real issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's a time and a place to talk about that, but there are some real issues that when we talk about mental health, we talk about sexual issues. There's a lot of stuff going on that nobody knows about because it gets shoved under the table. Mm-hmm. And that is not a made up thing that I'm just like, that is a real thing. And that we got to deal with. So every community has that. There's stuff like that in the regular community, but I just want to make sure that people hear me and that I'm not bashing my upbringing. A lot of good came out of that. Yeah. I just chose not to go back, and my life is gone in a place I never thought it would, but I think that goes for everyone. Yeah.
Well, and I would say, Amos, this is what I appreciate about, to your point, what I appreciate about when community leaders who have left the Amish church, especially in church settings, kind of make that known. Our dear friend Danny Yoder that's here and others who, make it known that that's the lifestyle they came out of. And I think, and have come to a place like similar to you of saying like, hey, this is not about speaking ill, but it is about being real with people and providing them a person that understands and can talk. And that's what I appreciate. I just appreciate that about you, that they're just, you're open with that. I think it stands to serve a lot of people.
If there are people who want to contact you, is there a good way to get a hold of you? Would you be willing to talk with people?
Yeah, I would. I absolutely would. I don't have all the answers, but I do have the experience. Mm-hmm. I experienced something that I feel like could be helpful to certain people. But yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm on the different socials and stuff, but
or they can contact us and we can get them.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Perfect. And I'm not a big social media guy. I have the different things, but I don't.
Sure.
Anyway, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I'll just say that.
But he does have a lovely picture of he and his family on Facebook from Easter.
Yeah, I do update every once in a while. And just to try to, stay somewhat current, because when you have kids that are growing, you got to.
And one that's going to be in the marketing profession.
That is, working perhaps alongside this fellow.
She's coming over to the office.
Yes,
yeah.
As long as I can figure out what cubicle they've stuffed her in back there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, Amos, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
But before we let you go, we have to do the...
And now it's time for the Dudes and Dads Pop Quiz.
Bingo, bango,
Pop quiz.
Pop quiz. So
was that Reagan's voice?
That was Reagan's voice, yeah. When she was a little bit younger.
We gotta go through an update.
Yeah, we do. Because Hattie, again, we have one of Hattie when she was really young.
A wee lad, Les.
What's brewing? What's brewing? What's brewing? What's brewing?
What's brewing?
Mm-hmm. That's Ad.
That's back from an old segment when Andy and I were a little bit younger and could drink coffee into the evening. And we would talk about what coffee we were drinking.
Now you drink coffee
now we
5 o'clock and you're up till midnight.
So the pop quiz, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
What we're doing with that is we're going to ask you random questions that have nothing to do with you being Amish.
Okay.
Just to get to know you better.
Or maybe they will.
Maybe they will.
Maybe accidentally they will.
All right.
Joel. We'll find out.
Are you just making these up on the fly?
We are.
I wish Mark was with us. Mark always comes up with really good ones. Micah, if you're over there and you have a question you want to ask,
you can
feel free to yell.
Okay. Amos, what would you say is your most recent new insight that you've gained in life? Maybe an aha moment or that's interesting.
My goodness. I was just thinking about something recently that I read that was like an aha moment, but I can't remember what it was.
This could encourage you to go back.
I might need to. I don't know. Oh, well, no, that's not it. I thought I had it. I don't know. I mean, I'm stuck.
Do you feel like you have aha moments?
I do
on occasion.
Yeah,
that's
great. I do. That's great. On occasion. I mean, they're a little bit less than they used to be.
I'm with you.
My brain is pretty full.
Yeah. So we'll keep track. Okay, so here's the challenge.
Now you're gonna make me think.
We're gonna extend this. We're gonna extend the pop quiz to the next time I see you.
Okay.
You'll be able to tell me what your most recent aha moment was. Okay, there you go, Andy.
All right. What is one thing besides the Bible everyone should be reading right now?
What everyone should be reading right now besides the Bible. If you are married, you should be reading a book that just came out. By Dr. Gary Chapman and Les and Leslie. Les and Leslie is a parrot.
It is. Yep.
They just wrote a book together that I started reading, and it's a kind of it's a build on, or they're tapping on, or I think whatever. But like the 5 love languages, obviously Gary Chapman. But it's a book that I just started reading. So if you're looking for something to read, you should be reading that book. If you are married, now if you're not married, I don't know. Read the newspaper, I guess.
All right.
Maybe not. Probably not.
Probably not. Joel, what is yours?
Is this, by the way, the love language that matters most? Is that the
Yes, that's the one.
Yep. Bingo.
Yep.
Okay.
It just came out like in January, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Amos, besides telling us which one of your children you secretly love the most,
I think Audrey might be listening.
Okay, well then,
I'm not sure.
Audrey,
my phone's been buzzing in my pocket, but I haven't gotten it out.
Here we go,
I've not
Audrey.
Seen any comments on YouTube yet.
Here's the chance, Audrey. No. What is one thing that you most admire about each of your kids?
Oh, okay. So I'll start with Audrey. The thing I admire about her the most is her ability to bring people together.
Yes,
and
such a great answer.
She has a unique ability, I believe, a gifting to bring people. Like typically in any friend group, she's kind of the glue of the whole bunch, not batch, bunch, whatever. And then for Caleb,
yes,
he has the softest heart of anybody I know. He's a tender-hearted kid.
Nice.
That every single time, if there's an issue with him and I, or him and his mom, or us in general, he always comes back and apologizes every single time. I never have to prompt him to come back. He always apologizes.
All right. I got a question from Micah. He texted me.
Here we go.
In a zombie apocalypse.
Perfect.
Oh my word. This would be something that would come from a layman family member.
Which one of your family members would last the longest and why?
Yes.
Oh my word. Not me.
Nice.
Probably Audrey.
Okay, Audrey.
Because she's probably the I don't want to say toughest, but the most. I just feel like she would kill us all.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Does Audrey know how to handle a shotgun?
She does not.
Okay, that's one skill in a zombie apocalypse. If there's a big takeaway I have, shotgun handling skills. That seems to be important in all of the entire non-scientific zombie movies I've watched.
All right, you got one more?
Okay, let's see here.
If you don't, I got one right now.
Okay, you go, and I'm gonna pull one out here.
All right. So if we're creating a sandwich that's going to be called the Amos,
oh wow,
what is going to be on it?
Oh, I okay. So I said I think I gave an answer to this in our class a while back.
You probably did, because I think I used it.
Your wife has some of these. I don't know if I want to call them awful or really good
She might have got them from me.
What's the thing,
icebreakers?
The icebreakers. Yeah. She comes up with some real.
She does
real doozies.
Some real bangers.
Yeah.
So she asked that, or somebody did, and I said, okay, 2 pieces of toast with jam or jelly, a fried egg, and a piece of cheese. Put it all together, and that's your sandwich.
What kind of cheese?
Oh, yeah.
Colby Jack.
All right.
Or Swiss. If I have, anytime I have the option, I'm going to go with Swiss every single time.
Joel, last question.
Love me some holy cheese.
Holy cow. Okay.
Thank you, Jesus, for the holy cheese.
Thank you. Amos,
This is, I mean, he's reaching.
What's one skill that you feel you don't currently possess, but you would really love to have?
I would love to learn how to play guitar.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
You could be a youth minister then.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
They all
about
do.
that.
It almost catapults you into youth ministry almost immediately.
I've owned a few guitars over the years, but I've never.
You just let them set in the corner?
I sold one, and now the person that I sold it to wants to sell it back to me. I don't know if that's a sign from the Lord or not, but could be a sign.
Okay, well,
maybe the fact you brought it up is a sign.
There we go.
Right, go with that.
I was discerning.
I saw the sign.
I was discerning.
It opened up my eyes.
Well, hey, congratulations, Amos. You've successfully passed the Dudes and Dads pop quiz. Well done.
Wow. The aha moment I'm going to be thinking about, so I'll get back with you on that.
Text him in the middle of the night.
I'm excited. We'll post it immediately to all of our socials.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Amos, for joining us tonight. We appreciate that. Joel?
As always, you can head over to dudesanddads.com for past shows, current shows, the show notes, all the goodies. Find some merchandise if you'd like. That'd be great. We'd love for you to wear our stuff.
Yeah.
I need a hat.
Merch.dudesanddads.com.
Yeah, or dudesandadspodcast@gmail.com if you've got any show ideas or responses you'd like to send us, pithy replies, harsh rebukes, whatever. We're down.
We are.
And as always, you can call us at the following number.
Oh, yes, there it is. Okay, 574-501-4467.
You can leave a voicemail. And I should say before we get out, I'll ask this off air. Grandma Carla, the greatest grandma fan of the Dudes and Dads podcast, did send me in a question directly for Amos.
Did she?
And we're gonna find out. It's all about why they sit on what side of the buggy when they drive. Okay. Hey, friends, we'll see you next time. Until then, grace
and peace.